Pure Money Marriage and Media, and we're back with another clip today. We're looking at the channel Lapeef Jr. Now, this topic here has been covered so many times: single moms. The difference here is that we've got a panel full of women. Now, I'm a big fan of women holding other women accountable, unless it's within a marriage. Then yeah, but no, we're talking about community. It's a community topic, so I'm glad to see that we have a panel of women who are discussing it, and we're going to jump right in and see what we get.
Crazy. The conversation I know that my husband and I have with both of our kids, we have a daughter, and yeah, we have a daughter and a son. And I was going to say those conversations that we had about around sex and, things like that, their conversations, believe it or not, were exactly the same in terms of if you get pregnant or if you get someone's pregnant, your life is going to change
Yes.
because there was there was not going to be any way that it was going to be acceptable in my home for my son to not share in the responsibility of raising and taking care of a child that he fathered. And then the same thing with my daughter. There was going to be no way that you think that you having a child is going to now end up becoming me and your dad's responsibility. Like you're
Okay, 100%. I full heartedly agree with that. And I think one of the biggest issues right now plaguing us is the fact that, well, if I get pregnant, mom and auntie gonna help you raise a baby, and we can go down here to the government office and get you blah blah blah, and basically you can get government assistance. Look, if we want to fix our community, we're going to have to fix it ourselves. We can't rely on other people, other government sources or anything like that to come in and try and save us, right? So I'm glad she put it like that, because realistically, when you have a child, your life is over. That's the whole benefit of being in a marriage, is now you have somebody else to partner with who has a vested interest in raising said child that both of you agreed to have in the first place.
your life is going to change. And so our conversations in regards to what Shan, what you were saying about what can be the solution is the conversations that you're having with your children, ahead of time. So we talked about sex from when they were younger. So it was never an uncomfortable conversation. Like we didn't wait till they got 13, 14 and then started the conversation. It was ongoing. And the big push was this is what we prefer. Like, we'll wait until you get married, those kind of things. But we were like, realistically, we know that, may not happen. Based on the stats, more than likely it's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
But this is what you need to do. So I mean, protection, protection, protection. You know, um, Taking my daughter to the gynecologist. I mean, I put her on birth control before she even started having sex. And she's like, I don't want to, because it was a stigma in her mind about that. But I'm like, no, because I know what can happen. Like right now, yes, you're not having sex, but my thing is, I want you to get in the habit of making sure that you prevent that because you get caught up in your emotions and it can happen just like that.
So what we have here is Miss Taken is married, because I had to confirm that in another video. But what we have here is a husband and wife who are taking active precautions in preventing, teen pregnancy. I love that part of the conversation, because we have to get this. Is why this is one of the things, one of the reasons why I wanted to create a channel where average people start having high level conversations, because there's not enough of average people talking about this particular issue and providing like actual solutions. Like, it's great we can sit here and complain about, oh, don't date single moms and all this other stuff. Okay, well, why don't we start having more conversations about, taking care of that issue before it happens? Very important, very important.
Son, buying condoms, keep them with you at all times. You need to re up. Like it wasn't an uncomfortable conversation. Neither one of them had any children. My son is married right now. My daughter's in a relationship. And when I say she's on point with that birth control, she don't play with it. She does not play with
Good.
it. And I think that's the solution. A lot of times as parents, we don't want to have those uncomfortable conversations with our children. And I think that's to their detriment that we don't.
So
Um,
I would, uh,
okay. No, you can go.
okay, thank you. So I would say, um, in general, um, both to young women and older women alike, if you can't trust them with your heart, don't trust them with your body.
Right.
That's one.
That's facts.
Because when we go having babies, uh, we take for granted that like you risk your own life. Like we're putting our lives at risk to carry forth life. And yeah, women are doing it every day, but like it's an actual thing, right? So um, just be mindful who you're risking your life for, essentially, because you're risking your life when you just trust them to be having raw sex with them anyway.
Let's see. I've seen Lady Bogolette speak before. This seems like a tough topic for her. Um, I'm not sure if she's a single mom or maybe it's just she feels uncomfortable about it. But when you compare to what Miss Taken, the conversation, what she was talking about to the Lady Mogulette now, it almost seems like you can tell that Miss Taken that she's had these conversations in her household. And that's like I said, man, that becomes so important is that we got to start talking about these things more and get it more out in the open, particularly with our kids. I think that if the more we talk about it, the more we talk about preventative measures, the better off we'll be. Are they 100%? No, because it's still going to happen. But getting the conversation out in the open means that there is a higher chance, there's a higher probability that we're able to peel back the layers and demystify these things.
But then you're risking your life again,
In other words, the more you talk about it, the more comfortable it becomes.
and by giving birth to another baby or giving birth to a baby, and bringing a baby into the world, and then you're risking your mental health and your quality of life and all those things. So, yeah. So just in a nutshell, if you can't trust them with your heart, don't trust them with your womb. The other thing I would say that would be like a solution is
I don't necessarily agree with that because it never fails. I'm almost certain that if you ask every teen mom, did she love that guy? The overwhelming response is going to be, well, yes, we love each other. Okay. So you really just put it all in her hands because every teen girl is going to tell you the same thing. Well, yeah, we're in love, and yeah, so that makes it okay. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. 'Cause- what? Okay, let's keep going.
to just, yeah, like just focus on like yourself until you find your husband. Like, don't plan for it. Like, I don't know. This whole thing is so ass backwards. I see some of these women talking about having a baby just to have a baby and saying you don't need the man. The man is definitely needed.
Yeah, you're on it. I thought I was on mute.
Oh my God! Yes.
We need a man.
The man is needed in the household. Like, the man is needed to be a part of the child's life. So,
On one hand, I'm glad they brought that up, but the sad part is when you look at these ladies, do any of them look like they're under the age of 25? No. Sadly, an interesting statistic to look up would probably be what age, what's the average age for women to have their first child? Because I'll be honest, none of these ladies look like they all look like yeah, they probably around 30 and up. I know Miss Taken is, because she talking about she got, like her son is married, so we ain't gonna hold no, there's no mystery there. And, but yeah, it's great to hear ladies talk about that. I just wish it was happening with younger women as well, because the majority of the time, single moms, like I gotta look up the stats, but it feels like, and I hate saying that, but it feels like it's women in their 20s who tend to do that. It seems like there are more women in their 20s who are having that first child out of wedlock. So I mean, I get, like I said, we got to we got to get more information out there. We got to start having this conversation on more than one platform. So, but like I said, this is great to have, because I'm still impressed, because we get to see women talk about these things when there are no men present on the panel. So it's always interesting. But let's keep it going.
Like, just don't do it. If you're not, just don't do it. Like, just don't do it. Like, you see, these days, kids see so many examples of what it's like, because I feel like there are almost way more broken homes and single parent households than there are two parent households, or
100%. I mean, they ain't no feel like in that. We know the statistics there. It's only, in and on the male side, there's men. We're only married to 30. Our marriage rate's 30%. That means that, let's see, with marriage to 30%, and let's say around 50% of us are single and childless. So about 20% of guys are out there having a bunch of kids, but I mean out of wedlock. But on the women's side, it's literally it's a lot worse than that. I think it's about, I have to double check it, but it's more than 20% of women who are having children out of wedlock. I can say that much. So there are more single parent households in our community than there are marriages. So we got to change that. But I mean, again, it starts with getting the information out there. And the other part of it is, again, is we got to have this conversation about average people. Well, what are average people doing? That's why I'm saying this multiple times, because it's that important to me. Like, the high value conversation is great to have, and we got enough videos on that. We need to start hearing more from average people, because there are not enough of us out here to. And one way we can start making changes in the community is if we're starting to see content from average people, because then that peels back the layer and demystifies what's actually going on in our households.
families that are bringing children into the world within wedlock. Like,
I think a lot of single mothers hurt themselves, and they kind of put themselves in a depression stage, especially when they're pregnant, and then they know that the father is not going to really be around. When I had my last one, I knew that, like, it was over. So what I did was I went to therapy. I had a male therapist and I had a female therapist, and they were so awesome that after I had my last one, it was like I didn't even go through depression. Like, I didn't go through. I just, like, it was just so amazing. I would recommend it to anyone, because we can say don't do it, but we know that things like that is going to happen. So it's like, sometimes I wish that a lot of single mothers can talk about a solution, about pushing through. When I left that home, that I was with this man, we had a house together, we had all these things, but wasn't married. I just wasn't happy, and I left with those kids, and I risked it all. Like, I moved to a whole other state. I was in this, and then most of those men, they tell us that we're not going to be anything. You're not going to be anything without me. You can't make it without me. And I just wish that mothers could be like, man, just, like, push through it. Don't worry about what another man gonna say, because I promise you, my dad.
Kudos for her for having to go through all that and pulling through. And I'm glad she went to therapy. But why would you want to have a child with a man that's going to treat you like that? That goes back to, you want to try and link this stuff together. It goes back to what Lady Mogulette said. If you don't trust him with your heart, don't trust him with your body. Clearly, she trusted that guy with her heart, and it still ain't work out. So You know, that's, again, you feel the nature of you got to break up your home, and you created a single parent household. Why? Because you weren't happy. Because you picked the wrong guy. You know, one of the things that we got to start doing is we got to ask, you know, it's sad to say, like I said, I understand that, but we got to start asking who vetted that guy for you. I'm serious, man, because this is getting old. It's like, you know, there are too many single parents in our community, single moms. We need to start questioning, like, okay, how are these men getting vetted that you're with? I'm gonna have to, yeah, we got to figure out a solution to this. I think that I think that is at the root of the problem right there. How are these men being vetted? And then why are you agreeing to have a child? Well, you might not even be agreeing with it, but why are you having a child with a man who doesn't believe in marriage? So yeah, we got to start having that conversation, because statistically, you know, it's common knowledge two-parent households are the best environment to raise a child in, but yet and still we keep having all these kids out of wedlock. Why? I don't know, but we got, like I said, I think you know, the three topics are the way we turn our community around: money, marriage, and media. So, but this is a good conversation to have. Like I said, we need more of it. We didn't find really we got kind of a solution here from Miss Taken, and we need to go back over that, because I'm not gonna let that slide. We can't just overlook that. She said her and her husband, keyword husband, were having conversations with the boy and the girl, because she's got two kids, about, you know, about protection and sex education, which was important. She said they started young, which that may be the, you know, we got to have that uncomfortable conversation. I'm not looking forward to that, because my kids aren't there yet, but they will be soon. So we're definitely going to have it, because the alternative is that, yeah. But anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in. I'm going to say goes to the next time. Peace. Thanks for making it to the end of this video, but do me another favor, like and subscribe, but also check out these here. Either subscribe or watch videos, one or the other. I don't know which side, but hey, all right.